show, the Friday TV, in association with Matt King's Gym. With me, I've got promoter Eddie Hearn. Eddie, I just want to touch a little bit on the Carl Frampton situation. Carl Frampton issued out a statement this morning. No doubt you've already seen this. Can you respond to me about what you make of this?
I've responded already. I mean, they're just talking themselves round in circles. You know, they're moaning now that actually my 1.5 million offer wasn't enough, and there's so much more on the table in the fight. But yet we've already made them an offer of 60-40 to the winner on a co-promotion basis, which is the other thing they're moaning around. The fact is, they're not coming in with any offers. If it's such a terrible offer, make us an offer. The fact is you can't. You can't make us a significant offer, you can't get anywhere near to our offer. We're not trying to be difficult. You know, people are saying to me, oh, why did you go public with this? Because it's so frustrating, because we're not getting anywhere. But we're covering all the bases. You know, 1.5 million is a massive no-risk offer. That's the bottom line. And some people have crazy ideas about 700,000-800,000 pay-per-view buys and don't realise that actually you don't get all that money, and there are actually costs that exist in a show. Some people are talking about 3 million gate. I mean, these people live in cloud cuckoo land. Let me do the maths, and the maths is 1.5 million is a lot of money. If you really think there's millions and millions and millions in the show, take the 60-40 to the winner. You think you're going to win, right? I'm starting to wonder whether Carl Frampton actually wants this fight. And I hope I'm wrong, because I really have always believed he does. But I don't understand what's stopping them. You know, he talks about all these other options he's got. He doesn't have any options. He's got a broadcaster that, in my opinion, isn't going to be delivering rights fees. They've got issues with their backers and sponsors, which we won't go into. So what options have they got? They're under so much pressure to deliver Carl Frampton a major payday. He's a huge star and a great fighter. He deserves hundreds or millions of pounds, and they cannot deliver it without Scott Quigg. In fact, they can't deliver it with anyone else but Scott Quigg. Don't get me wrong. Carl Frampton against Scott Quigg makes Scott Quigg a lot of money. They need each other. About time they started showing respect, realising we are the one, our broadcaster, that is bringing all the revenue to the table here. They need each other. They're running out of time, and they're going to regret it if they don't hurry up and start playing ball. And all it is ego. I'm not doing what Eddie Hearn says. I'm not doing what Sky says. We've seen it before with other fights. I'm not trying to be, this power broker. I want this, I want that. I'm just trying to make great fights. Play the game. You don't have to sing to our tune, but you just have to realise that we bring the money. Our partners bring the money. I will make you very rich. Do you want to be rich? I will make you rich. Fighters out there, if you can fight, I will make you rich. Someone said I'm getting more like David Brent, James, as time goes on. That's really worrying. Is that true?
It was a little Brent-esque at times, Eddie. I'm not going to...
Anyway.
What can we do to make this fight happen?
Nothing. Only common sense. Only common sense will prevail. You know, originally it was this fight can only happen on a co-promotion. We've offered that already. So, you know, it's so frustrating. And the bottom line is, unless these guys get their act together, they are going to be left holding something down there, going, oh dear, we're in a voluntary defence, and Carl Frampton's going to be looking at the money going, look what you could have won. So, again, it's not a case of, all it is ego. We don't want to do what Eddie Hearn says. We don't want to do what Scott says. Tough in a way. You can have the power in the show. You can have your name on the poster. You can get Buffer to call you out. We can call it a co-promotion. We can massage your ego and make you really happy about it. If you really don't want to do it our way, make us an offer. We will come to Belfast. We will fight Carl Frampton. Make us a 1.5. Make us any offer. You can't.
Eddie, would you be willing to give him a percentage of the pay-per-view?
We've done that, James. James, we've offered 60-40 to the winner. They're so convinced they're going to win the fight, so that's 60% of all these millions they think's out there, and them being co-promoters of the show. They've turned it down. They've turned down a guarantee of 1.5
million. Before the 1.5
Yes,
million?
long before. And that's why, in the end, after all the negotiations, after all the meetings, in the end, it was a case of, listen, let's have another meeting. Why? We're really busy. These are the terms. We've been over this, round this, up this, down this 100 times. These are the terms. They're not changing. It's 60-40. And by the way, 60-40 of all the millions that we are bringing to the table through our partner, not through your partner, not through your broadcaster, but our broadcaster. It's so frustrating, you know. And this is a bit different to, you know, the Kell Brook Amir Khan. You know, Amir's got options. Listen, he can go and box in America. He can box Broner. He can still get paid very, very well. Both of these guys need each other. And if they don't make this fight, they're going to be kicking themselves, and they're going to be sitting there in August, September, having had a fight, thinking, God, I could have earned 5 times more. But
Time deadline? What's going on?
not really. We're planning, and we could sign for another fight any moment. So it's not a case of sign this by the end of the week. It's just a case of if you ever come back. They haven't even replied. So if you come back to us, it might still be available, it might not be. But July the 18th, Scott Quigg will box. And we are relatively close to agreeing terms with an opponent. Probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 days.
So there are other opponents in the mix?
Of course, there has to be. Otherwise, we're not doing our job. You can't just hope that Carl Frampton takes that fight. You have to think on your feet. But it's annoying, and you do lose a little bit of faith with boxing. I was in a cab the other day and I go, why don't these big fights get made, mate? There's so much money in it for them. I mean, I heard you talking about $5 million, $6 million for Amir Khan and $1.5 million for Carl Frampton. What's the matter with these people? Well, actually, it is more confusing than that, and there is more to it, but the general public can't see it. And they lose faith as well. I've had people tweeting me today from Belfast saying, no, I'm actually starting to get bored for this. Does Frampton actually want this fight or not? We all want to see it. You've offered him a load of money. What's the problem? But, if you don't think 1.5 million is a lot of money, you're dreaming. But if you really think there's so much more in the fight, take 60-40 on a co-promotion. You've already offered it.
Last message to Team Frampton, if you like.
It's no point. I'm not here to goad people. I'm not you watching Team Frampton. I'm just saying, just realise what's best for your client. I mean, the bottom line is, and I know I talk about pay-per-view a lot, and I know people get disheartened with it. The bottom line is, being real, pay-per-view is the golden chalice for any professional fighter. If you can become a pay-per-view fighter, you can earn money like never seen before. Ask David Hay, ask Carl Froch, ask Ricky Hatton. And when the other one thing that makes me laugh is, but there's so much more exposure on ITV. I mean, what do you think? You sit down with a fighter and say, you're going to earn considerably less, but the good news is there's more exposure. Do they think there's no exposure on Sky Sports box office? Are you real? Have you seen Sky Sports News for 10 weeks leading up to this fight? Have you seen a campaign that goes into this fight? Ask David A, Carl Froch or Ricky Hatton whether they think they got enough exposure out of their box office fights. I'll tell you what kind of exposure they got there, sitting there on their dirty big sofa in their dirty big mansion with 10 sports cars out the front. That's how much exposure they got from pay-per-view. Come on, get real. Anyway, you're right bringing it out at me today, James.
Last word on Kell Brook. Yeah. Anything going on?
Kell Brook will fight on May the 30th, and he will be at the press conference tomorrow. We'll announce his fight. You'll get it all then.
All right. Listen, Eddie Hearn, I can't thank you enough for your time, sir. Thank you very much, and I'll catch you again real soon.
Cheers, James.